to the Sports on Prime. I'm Gary L. Smith. Today we begin with the BBC African Footballer of the Year awards. The voting process is already done. The voting has been done. It's closed, and now the collation is underway. Peter Okoche, who has fronted the awards for many years, for about 5 to 6 years, was here in our studios at Joy FM, and I spoke to him on my show this afternoon. He says the awards are still credible and they're still the best.
I mean, I've had the honor and the pleasure of handing out this trophy to the past 4 or 5 winners.
Yeah.
And from Yacine Brahimi, Algeria's Yacine Brahimi, to Yaya Toure twice, and Riyad Mahrez, who is the current holder last year. I mean, they have all told me, the question I always ask them is, why is it that winning this award is so important to you guys? And as you mentioned, they say it's because it's the only award of its kind. It's voted for by the fans, who are actually, outside the players, the most important factor in football. So if the fans who we are trying to entertain vote for me as the best player on the continent, it's got to make it makes you feel good. I mean, I remember handing it to Yaya Toure a few years ago, and I gave it to him at the Manchester City training ground, and all his teammates were so happy for him. Kun Aguero, all of them, they were, driving past and hooting their horns, and because it just makes you just realize that I'm actually playing with one of the best footballers on the planet.
Can get the rest of that interview on our subsequent programs. And now, corruption has always been a problem in football in Ghana and across the world, to be honest. And Honorable Asafo Marfo, one-time sports minister, says that it is the bane of the local league.
People have talked a lot about corruption. And when we talk about corruption, people shift their attention specifically on politicians. And that shift itself has created a problem for this country. See, when you do not define the corruption to really put everybody in that catch, you are creating a problem for the country. Give you a good example. I've been minister for sports, and during my time, for the first time, Ghana qualified to play the World Cup. When I became minister for sports, one of the first group of people I met were officiating people for football matches. I invited all of them to my office, because the league becomes important when people see fairness. You destroy the league of this country when people know that matches have been fixed. Corruption got so deep after 2010 into football playing in this country that Ghanaians no more even are interested in the local league. Are there any politicians there? And therefore, corruption in the officiating of soccer matches, Premier Division, has had a very negative effect on our football. To the extent that now when we have Black Star, out of the 18 people we put on the pitch, aside of the goalkeepers, there's hardly anybody picked from the local league. What does it tell you? It's certainly not the best way. We used to get about half of the Black Star from the Premier League. And we used to get most of them coming from Haas, Kotoko, Wise, Olympics. About 4 or 5 teams will give us almost Black Star. And we're very competitive, conquered Africa. These teams also conquered Africa in their own right. Now, how are our teams now faring? Those who win the league here in Ghana cannot even go through the first group knockout on the African continent.
So, sir, if I get you, you're using the football example to say that the definition of corruption is wrong, and that's part of the problem.
Not that it's wrong.
Or at least the focus is limited.
The focus is wrong.
Good. My question, though, is...
Asafo Marfo there. In community football, there's a new winner for the 2017 Magdan Unity Soccer Cup. Now, the star-studded team from La here in Accra defeated their counterpart from Tema to lift the trophy, and Moses Yabwa of the Joy Sports Desk was there. File this report.
The 2017 edition of the annual Magdan Gan Adangbe Unity Cup was lifted by host Latown 11. The star-studded La Side beat Tema by a lone goal from Kwame Kizito to receive the gold medals and winner's cash prize of $2,000 from dignitaries including the former president Jerry John Rawlings, the La Manche Ni Kpobi Tete Turu, Tema Manche Ni Ajay Kraku, His Excellency Amakai Amate Fio, and Dr. Dan Macaulay. Tema, who put up a spirited show with their twinkling rising stars, collected the silver medals and cash prize of $1,000. Nungwa beat Teshi on penalties to win the third place bronze medals and cash prize of $450. Benjamin Annan of La, who was voted best player of the tournament, got $200, with Gokin Trophy going to Maxwell Quay, also of La, collecting $150. And the best goalkeeper, Kote Blankson, taking home $150 and his trophy, as well as fair play prize going to the La Supporters Union, going away with $200. All the medalists, including the fourth place, received drinks such as Verna Water and Rad Energy from Trillium Industries Ghana Limited. The event, which is the brainchild of Magdan Shipping and Logistics Company, attracted a large crowd and drew ex-internationals like Stephen Appiah, Lai Kingston, Emmanuel Ama, Abladi Kuma, Ebendida, and others. Obodai Sai, marketing manager of Magdan Shipping, said the crowd was overwhelming and hinted that it indicates the golden touch of Magdan's CEO, Dr. Dan Macaulay, who has promised to build an AstroTurf pitch for the community. He added that La is a community that loves peace and sports, hence the people must be rewarded with a sports complex.
So, without you some squash, and Simpson Dodu has maintained his #1 spot on the Squash Masters ranking after winning the tournament in Kumasi. He is of the Tesanos Squash Club in Accra.
Dimson Dodu of the Tesanos Squash Club in Accra maintained his #1 spot on the ranking table in Ghana after winning the Movie House Squash Masters tournament hosted by the 4 Garrison Offsetmen Squash Club over the weekend in Kumasi. Playing from a strong field of over 40 seasoned squash players across the country, the match between the two top-ranked players, Dimson Dodu and Edem Dell, also from Accra, lived up to its billing. The two players displayed amazing skills and stamina in the final match, which was decided after an hour and a half of a best-of-5 sets. Going into the final set on 2-2, Dimson showed a lot of resilience and great skills to make light work of his opponent, to the admiration of the fans that were present to witness the event. According to Dimson, hard work and training through the year helped him defend his title and maintain his #1 ranking.
This is a game, anything can happen. I've done it for the last 2016. We also it. This is 2017. I went in to do my best, okay, and actually I've done my best. We also it.
Meanwhile, captain of the 4 Garrison Squash Club, Lawyer Francis Kofi, says the club will organize more tournaments next year to make the game of squash more attractive.
In fact, we are now looking at getting it onto the Olympic calendar. So the way people are participating and the enthusiasm shown by the public, as you all observed, a full house, most people wanted to be part of it. We are sure next year we're going to have a bigger public participation and audience.